Get started. Hey, we are live on the SideQuest, talking video games. Have a good time, everybody. I am Dali and Erron. You have a wonderful shadow on your face there, Aaron.
Yeah, my key light is very bright, so I'm using my pop filter to block it.
And that lovely person in the box down there without any kind of icon or face whatsoever is Sam Dixon.
Hello, friends. No brand represents me.
No brand represents Sam, except that I dropped the SQ up in the right corner of your screen. That's a really red.
That's a good point. Also, the website forgot my avatar, so my bad. I did not have a replacement. I did not keep Mr. Rossetti on my desktop.
You got to put Mr. Rossetti on there, man. Got to put him on there. So, what's happening, guys? Everybody good? You guys excited for a nice, fun night of podcasting? We haven't gotten together in like over a week now, so
it's been 2 for me because I fell asleep last week.
That is correct. You fell asleep last week. We thought you were dead. And
I'm getting old.
We're the beginning of the week podcast now.
Yeah, it's true. We've like slowly. I think if we continually add a day every time, we'll be back towards the end of the week.
Your favorite way to lead into the weekend on Tuesday.
The podcast used to be a Wednesday show.
Well, last week, I'm pretty sure you guys recorded on Monday, right? And now we're on Tuesday, so I guess next week we finally completed the cycle.
What if we do one on Friday this week, just to throw everybody off?
Just to fuck with people?
Just to fuck with people. Might be a good idea.
Will there have been any news? Will we have played anything new by then?
There'll be news. And I'll have played another game, but I'm only going to talk about one today. But let's. I do want to say it's good to be back. We haven't been. Like I said, it's been like 8 days, 9 days since. Or I don't know. I've lost track of time. Back to school, everybody. Welcome. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys are playing. We're gonna have a doozy of a show tonight because we've been doing a lot of shit. So there's been a lot of gaming and a lot of news over the last week, and a lot of shit we got to cover. So should we get started?
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I can go first. I've been playing one game.
What's that? I got to write this down. You've been playing a game.
I have been playing a game. I have been playing the ever-loving shit out of PGA 2K21.
Dude, that's awesome. You're the one on staff that's been playing it because I really want to get this. Tell me about it. You like it? You don't like it?
No, it's good. It's
okay.
It's super simple to play. If you've played any golf game since the PS2, you basically understand how it works. You get on the green and there's the little moving dots, and that's how you read the green, and you pull back and push forward on the stick and make sure you do that at the right time to make sure your ball goes straight and play some golf.
Excellent.
Yep.
So you're playing it on PC.
I am playing it on PC. I have it on Steam.
Okay. Are you doing like a career mode type of thing, or are you just playing?
No.
Online matches. What's going on?
No. So the online seems a bit weird. They've got a whole online thing which they've called societies, which is their word for the exact same thing that every video game does. Clans or groups or whatever. Yeah. I haven't seen a way to just be able to like join a game of 18. It's all like different there's a couple of different online modes, and maybe I'm just missing it. And it very much seems to be geared towards playing with people
Okay.
It's like, oh, here you can invite people from your online group into a match, or people from your friends list into a match, and it's private matches or public matches, and there's just no join. I haven't seen a quick match, or I'm just missing it. But no, I've mostly been playing the career mode. You start off your first run through, and it dumps you into like a 9-course amateur tour.
Okay.
And you have to win 3 of them to move on to the PGA Tour, and then the PGA Tour is like 30 odd courses or whatever. And by the time, so I played the first 2 of the amateur tournament or the amateur courses, having not touched this game, and I haven't played a golf game since fucking like
high school,
like 2006 maybe, like Tiger Woods 2006 or 2007. I figured out exactly how to play that game, and I won the first 2 events. And then I came in second on the 3rd event, and then I won the 4th event, which promoted me to the PGA Tour. And then I won every single event in the PGA Tour, including all the tournaments.
It's I thought it was gonna be more like what's it called? Like Fortnite, where they throw you against bots the first time around that are really easy, and you're like, look how good I am at Fortnite. I'm gonna play again.
So you can pick the difficulty. Like when you start your career, regardless of which set of tournaments you go into, it gives you like 3 options. It's like how many rounds per course do you want this event to be? So you could like run through the course a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. How many what difficulty do you want to put them on? And you can put them on like everything from like very easy all the way through very hard. And it defaults to normal. And my first run through, I was just like, well, just stick it. I'll leave it on normal. Who cares? It's golf. Then I had to crank the difficulty up because I'll play 18 holes and like the dude in seconds at like -5 and I'm at like -15 or 16 or something. Yeah, it's really easy to figure out like how to do really well in a golf game.
Yeah, that is true. It's like once you get the mechanics down in a golf game, you pretty much own. Yeah. That's why you need to play against people.
Yeah.
Humans, because at least there's challenge there, and otherwise, I mean, every golf game that I've played on every video game golf game that I've played, you kind of find your way around the first couple tournaments, but then after that, it becomes fairly easy.
Yeah.
I think that's just the nature of video game golf.
And like putting is always going to be more difficult than anything else. And putting's easy. There's a function in the game, and I'm sure it's been in a bunch of them, where like when you're lining your shot up, you can hold down like the A button or whatever the button happens to be.
Sure.
And it spawns like your ball's line, which it predicts where your ball will go based on if you're not fucking up the shot as you make it. So as soon as you can do it once per shot.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're lining up, a putt, and you judge it based on how you're reading the grain. You hold down the A button, and it spawns that line out. And if it goes in the cup, like if it's just a dead shot, it's like, all right, you just hit this at normal power, and you got a birdie. And if it's off, like four or five of those, and you can estimate exactly how much you need to adjust the shot based on where the line went.
Sure.
And then that's it. So it's like I'm at the point now where I almost never get a bogey. And it's rare that I get a par. It's like it's almost always a birdie or an eagle.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just like, and the other thing is, back when I played a lot of whatever year of PGA, Tiger Woods, whatever it was called at the time, whatever those were called, I used to never putt. I used to always intentionally overdrive the ball so I would land outside the green, and then I would chip in for like an eagle or a birdie. And yeah, I can still do it. So every par 3 or par 4, I'm just like, I'm gonna hit the back of this green. I'm just gonna.
And it works the same way here.
Yeah, it's just you do it once, and you can see, like, depending on how far away from the hole you are, you just get an idea of how far it's gonna roll off a chip. So you just aim before the hole, so it stops bouncing, and then you just roll it in.
This is the advantage. Wow, my voice just cracked there. This is the advantage of I don't say advantage, but one of the novelties of like playing sports games with motion controls. Something like, I don't mean the original Wii Sports Golf, because that was very bare bones motion controls, but stuff later on. There was a few things on the PS3. And then later on in the Wii and the Wii U's life, where they relied more on like the Motion Plus and more exact swings and stuff. But at least that kind of came down to your actual skill as a golfer rather than your capability to figure out ones and zeros, which tends to happen because golf is it's a solitary game. I mean, you're playing by yourself. There is no such thing as a team in golf. There's groups that you'll play in, but it's not like you're commanding other players, right?
So one of the online modes in this is a team. It's it's like you and a partner, and player 1 tees off, and then player 2 takes the next shot, and then player 1 takes the next shot. So there is like a team mode, but in general,
just all that is alternating shots. It's not like you're hitting the shot to you're trying to hit to the other player wherever he is, and he has to run over. And it's not like an action sport. It's very much a stop and alternate shots type of thing. And I mean, once you if you can figure out the wind and some of those numbers in a game, I mean, you have it figured out. Every golf game has their tell, whereas like other action sports games like hockey and baseball, there's football, there's AI built into the other players, so they kind of adapt. The wind doesn't adapt to how you play.
No,
I've never seen gators leap out of like water traps.
The funniest part about something like the wind, like depending on the course you're playing, either there's no wind and it's not a factor and you can just do exactly what you want to do. But if there's wind, as soon as you realize like, 10-mile-an-hour wind means I need to put the marker over here if I want the ball to land on the fairway. And that's just like, that's a constant. Sure. You look at the little arrow and it's blowing to the left. I'm going to put the marker over here on the right, and how far it goes depends on the wind. But that is the one factor. And the other factor is like your actual golf swing. Like if you slice it, like if you for some reason on the joystick go, pull down and then go, I went to the side and now my ball is sliced. I have a natural slice to the right with my thumb for some reason. And it's just enough that my ball will go to the right. So I just compensate instead of fixing my fucking swing. I just compensate a little bit to the left.
Yep, that's exactly what I do too in golf, because I also slice exactly like you say it, and I mean I'm the same way. I don't try to fix it. I just compensate for it, and that's it. But I mean it's one game I'm actually looking forward to. I haven't picked up a golf game probably. I think Wii Sports was like the last golf game I bought, and then before then I think I had like Wildlife Country Club on the Super NES, so there wasn't anything in between. But I've always loved golf games. I've played them and rented them and stuff. But I mean, I have like What the Golf and stupid things like that. They're not actual golf. Sure. But I want to play a real golf game. So this is the one that I've been really looking forward to.
Well, the nice part about this one too is at least when you're playing by yourself, as soon as you take your shot, regardless of where your shot is, you can immediately hold down the Y button and it fast forwards.
Okay.
So you can burn through 18 in like 30 minutes if you want.
That's good. That way you don't have to wait for the ball to roll and wait for leaves to blow by.
Yeah, totally. And the one thing that irritates me, but not enough that I've tried to find a way to turn it off, is when you're playing through the PGA portion of the tour, there's commentators, obviously.
Sure.
They have recorded dialogue and it doesn't sound stitched together, but there's also not a lot of it. So you hear a lot of the lines repeated very quickly. But what they do is every now and again, like as if you were watching it on television, when, commentators would be like, we're going to go down to hole 17 where, whoever, he just made an incredible shot and let's have a look. And then it just shows like, one of the professional players like chipping out of a sand dune or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's just like as if you were watching it on TV. And I assume there's a way to turn it off, but I haven't looked. So as soon as it happens, I'm just like, I just want to keep playing. So I'm just mashing the skip button to get past that, because it's like, yeah, that's a nice feature, and I bet it's very entertaining for people who are way into watching golf. But I'm here to play a video game. I don't need to know what Rory McIlroy is doing. He's not even in the game as far as I can tell. But
yeah, and that's the immersion of being in golf. I mean, I love golf. I'm a sucker for hitting links, hitting golf courses. So that's cool. So PGA 2K21, and there is like a golf. There isn't like a course editor or anything on here. There is. Oh hell yeah!
There's a course editor, and you can play other people's courses. That ties into the whole society thing. Okay. You can design a course straight up. There might be a way to play courses without joining one of those, but one of the functions that it has is it lets you just play other people's courses like very easily.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I mean, like video game wise, it's a very good video game.
Solid. Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm picking it up eventually. I'm sure it'll go on sale this holiday season. So I'll
yeah. I didn't even know when it came out. I was watching Gary Whitta and Tested's Will Smith play the Penny Arcade guys and in in a 2v2 on stream the other day, and I got very drunk that evening and was like, I'm buying this right now, and then I just bought it. And
this is how Aaron makes important purchase decisions. I just bought a house in Nevada.
I wouldn't mind a house in Nevada if it wasn't for all the scorpions.
Oh, shit, in the 100+ degree weather.
Yeah,
this could be California where it's 122. Sorry,
and everything's on fire.
Everything's on fire. Anything else you've been playing?
No, I think I talked about it last time I was on it. I don't remember. Did I talk about Among Us?
Yeah, you did a little bit. Yeah.
So I played a little bit more of that. But in terms of new things, just PGA Tour 2K21.
Excellent. Well, I want to move on to Sam. And Sam, before we get into anything, this ties into the news of the last 8 to 10 days. The major news that has broke is that Sam has completed Pixel Puzzle.
Oh yeah, I was like, where is he going with this? Yes, yeah, it's been an almost 2-year-long journey. I'll have to do a count. I didn't even think to do a count of how many puzzles that is, but it's way too many.
Yeah, it is.
And that game also has puzzles that I don't think can be solved without getting at least one hint from it. But if you want to try your luck again, you can play every puzzle without the ability to hit the X marker. So then you just have to remember where you don't want tiles.
That's cool.
I mean, sure, but some of those puzzles are impossible without help, let alone without being able to see. I mean, you could draw like a grid, like a paper grid over your phone and just mark it like that, I guess. But yeah, that would be a nightmare. So I'm going to call it done.
Nice.
It's finished. It's not deleted off my phone because it feels like knowing you're done with a children's toy and now you have to bury it in the backyard. I just don't want to bury it quite yet.
I can't wait until they you get the shadow update over the next week or two, and it'll be 500 new puzzles just added.
I would hope so. I've been trying to and failing find a replacement for that game on my phone. I've been trying to get good at Mario Kart on mobile. I'm
too good at that, and I still get fucking cheated on like crazy. That game is broken.
That steering I just don't like. Yep. I know you can hold it sideways. I guess I got to try that.
It's not very good sideways because you kind of want to see everything in front of you. That's the nice part about the vertical.
I would prefer motion controls if it's an option. I haven't investigated. Is it?
I think it is an option.
Maybe I'll go to that. Listen, I'm just trying to play it so I can complete that puzzle or to complete that mission, I guess, on my Nintendo for those pins.
There you go. That starts tomorrow, baby. Or did it start today?
Well, so I think it starts tonight sometime. It might already be live. But I'm not sure if you need to have some experience or levels or whatever in that before you can play it. There's not an events tab, but there's a challenges tab that you have to get 5 cups complete. So I've just been trying to do that on mobile. But also I looked in the store to see if there was any other Picross games or any other thing that excites me, and I just don't think mobile games are for me.
No, they're great toilet games, and that's it. That's what I've been. I will say this though, Angry Birds. I think it's Angry Birds Dream Blast is the kind. It's not really Angry Birds. It's like a Bubble Bobble Bust a Move style game.
Actually, that might be something I'd want to play.
Take a look at that, and it's free.
Give me your best impression of when you fire off the red bird.
Pop. Pop. That's it. What else have you been playing there, Sam? I know a couple things actually.
The real game I've been playing.
Real game,
not a mobile game. No, mobile games are way more real than they should be. Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Hell yeah. Talk about this stuff.
Wow. Hey, nostalgia is both great and a poison. Just remember that through everything said about Tony Hawk. I mean, it's great. It feels great to play. I think it was School 2 and Tony Hawk 2 where you're skating through it and you're like, nah, this is how this game looked all the time. I can remember back to when I was a child. And there was the N64 that couldn't even get close to this. I watched that Digital Foundry video on like the evolution of the Tony Hawk 1 and 2. And I think I realized at the time that they cut down all the music on N64, but I never admitted it to myself until they said it straight up.
I think it was on N64.
They removed. Apparently, it had a better frame rate, so cool. And the N64's anti-aliasing helped it out, I guess. But they had to cut all of the skate videos, which I swear I saw as a child. I did have friends that played Tony Hawk on PlayStation. Couldn't have told you there was a difference between the two as a kid. And then also they cut down all the music. And all of that is in this. I believe they got all of the music back for 1 and 2. Plus, then they added a couple of new tracks.
Yes.
The game looks great. I do have an HDR television, and I do not know, other than to just set it off for the entire PlayStation, how to go back to just HDR. So I don't know if it looks great, but it runs very smoothly. Everything feels the same. There's the options to turn off the new moves if you're more into that, instead of being able to do the reverts and the manuals, which you weren't able to do in 1 and the reverts in 2. It's just an overall good experience. If you like those Tony Hawk games or are ever interested about it. It's also, I guess, a semi-budget title, $40 as opposed to a full retail.
That's not bad at all. Holy shit!
How much? So they essentially smashed 1 and 2 together, right? And they prettied it up, like they made it look good. And did they add any new stuff? Like, are there new levels or anything? New characters?
At least that I've seen, there's not any new levels. I believe they might have added a new character or two, or at least adjusted characters. And they do have the Creative Park and stuff like that, and a Creative Skater, so you can make your own character if you want. But yeah, I guess Creative Park is where they're trying to do sort of that new stuff, because technically anybody could rebuild some of the more simpler levels from 3 and 4. And hopefully that means the success of this, that people will want 3 and 4, and that comes out is either DLC or its own game. My only complaint with it right now is how multiplayer works. You can join a lobby with friends, but you can't set up your own private lobby. So if you wanted to play 8 people playing Horse, that's not an availability, because Horse is only on local play. For anybody that has never played a Tony Hawk, Horse is when people take turns. It's doing combo lines, and you only get one shot at it, and you have to beat the score of the person previously, or you get a letter, and it goes through until you spell Horse, and then you're eliminated. But you can't play that unless you're playing 2-player local. And online, you can't set up your own private lobbies. So even if you wanted to play the rotation of game types and maps that the servers have going, you can't lock it down to be like, oh, it's the 4 of us. It's, the 4 of us that we got invited before the rest of the party filled up with another 4 people. And now we're going through a pre-selected maps and challenges, I guess, missions types. But you can rank in casual or ranked play. So your choice of how pro you want to be at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
How many times have you listened to Superman?
Less than I would have hoped for at this point. It is a very long track list.
It's a classic song.
I wanted to give every song like 2 or 3 shakes completely through before I started banning it from the list. But now that I've been playing like the last day or two, if I hear a song that I'm not into or I'm doing really, but let's be honest, if I'm skating really bad, and I think I need something to blame it on, that song's jettisoned and it's never coming on again.
Is Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne in there?
I don't think so. I think that was a Tony Hawk Underground.
Isn't she Canada's own Avril Lavigne?
I'm sure she's from somewhere. If we're all agreeing that she is not that she's human and not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Much like Nickelback.
Nickelback, they don't exist.
Who I think married her. Ted
sure.
Nickelback. Yeah, there's some Canadian trivia for you. I want to buy that game.
It's a fun one.
Same.
I have it on PlayStation because it would feel weird playing it on any other controller. I don't know if I want to play Tony Hawk on an Xbox controller.
Did it come out the same day as Avengers?
If Avengers came out on Friday last week, then yes,
it did. Okay.
I feel like people have been playing that game for the last month. Am I wrong?
Avengers.
Yeah, there was a beta, and then what was it? One of the
demo or something.
You got early access or something.
Something like that. Open and closed betas and yeah. Well, anyways, Tony Hawk. There's some rumors that it's coming to Switch, but I mean, I kind of want to play it.
That would be cool. I'd be upset if it comes to Switch later. No, see, I think Tony Hawk would be the best like 2-player game to play. Like you could probably do it with one Joy-Con. Let me think of how Tony Hawk works real quick.
I mean, if you're playing a classic
game with one Joy-Con,
yeah, it was on the original. What was a PlayStation 1 game, wasn't it?
Correct. Yes, PlayStation 1, N64, and apparently
so you could totally do. You could do one Joy-Con. Faux show. So you like who's your favorite character to be, or did you create your own?
Well, I did create my own skater, but so there's a bunch of challenges that each skater and each park has, and then like overall challenges. I'm not sure if it's tied to the creative skater, but like one of the challenges is grind for over an hour.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, an exact tracking of how long you've been grinding.
Maybe you need to hop on that created course that the developers made, where it's just one giant long S rail that goes up into space.
So they've thought of that. Most of the challenges are exclusive to exclusive to the classic levels. Now they do have create a park challenges, so you might be able to mess with some of those.
So, do you think that this game...
Bob Berquist, by the way, I don't know if that actually came out. That's the character I've been playing.
Do you think that this game counts for Game of the Year lists?
Because it's a remake?
Because it's very much like a remake, and they mash two games together, and there's not a lot of new stuff.
I mean, if Game of the Year is considered a release in the calendar year, then yeah. But do you think it's going to be a series contender against other things?
I think it could be. I mean, it's a full remake. It's not just like a remaster like Mario. It's just a full remake.
Yeah. See, my only fear is that nostalgia is clouding this for everybody, because anybody that played that game back in the day who owns a console is probably buying this game. Mm-hmm. I know people that, all they buy is the Call of Duty, the Madden, or the FIFA or whatever that year, and that's it. And they have been nonstop talking about Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Nostalgia does that. It's a drug. It's a drug.
With that being said, man, the soundtrack's great, and those songs really make you vibe back into your olden days. It's up
on like Spotify and all that kind of stuff too. I think those soundtracks.
Yeah, noted hater of nostalgia, but man, when a remake is done well, you have to give it credit, even if you're not a huge fan of the series. Like I'm not a huge fan of the Spyro and Crash Bandicoot series, but they nailed it on those remasters. Yep. And I think they definitely nailed it on Tony Hawk, and hopefully they get to make more or make an actual sequel to Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I liked your response when they mentioned that they're doing a Crash 4 demo, and you're like, isn't that just like Crash 1 through 3 remastered?
I mean, that was the pitch video, right?
Like, for sure.
Hey, we want to make a new Crash. Cool. Could you put some levels together? Yeah, we have a whole release if that's what you're looking for.
Well, I mean, you look at these remakes, and they're most definitely making. They got obviously Crash 4 is coming out because of the popularity of the remakes. Spyro, this is its second return because the Skylanders games started off as Spyro games in a weird way. So they're going to make a new Spyro game for sure. You got Crash Bandicoot Racing. They're going to make a new one of those, obviously, and Tony Hawk, all of them have sold really well to the point where they have to. I mean, they got Beanox and Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob working on all these games for show. Would not be surprised. There you go, Tony Hawk 18 or whatever number it is coming out. Which one did they stop numbering after? 4 or 3?
5 came out, and was just. I mean, it was a terrible game.
Okay. Yeah, and there was Thug 1, Thug 2, and Tony Hawk Downhill Jam, I think, was in there somewhere.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're
Tony
counting
Hawk
full
with
titles,
the skateboard.
Yeah, you got Project 8, you got Underground 1 and 2, American Wasteland.
That's right. Yeah, Thug.
Tony Hawk Ride.
Tony Hawk, that was the one. That's the one that came with.
Was there a Tony Hawk Downhill Jam, or is that just that one level?
Google search it.
I'm looking it up right now. I swear that was a full. Yeah, Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam is a skateboarding game from the Tony Hawk series. It was a launch title for the Nintendo Wii and also available for Nintendo DS, Game Boy Advance, and PlayStation 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, baby.
I know too much about the Tony Hawk series. Let's move on.
Can't wait till they get back to bringing Guitar Hero games back again.
Yeah, you were talking about Skylanders. I bet you that's a 2024 release.
I would not be obviously. Actually, I think we have something Skylanders coming sooner rather than later, because I keep hearing buzz about them trying to throw some Skylanders thing out there this
you keep
year.
Hearing about Buzz the Skylander.
It's true. I think there was a Skylander named Buzz who was not a bee. Anything else you've been playing?
No, just
you started Spellbreak.
Yes. So I have played around a Spellbreak, but I don't think it counts because I was the last one in the circle arena. I don't remember quite what they call that final thing. Yeah, the storm. And the person was just standing there staring at a wall and not doing anything. So I believe they gave me one of those nice, easy bot wins right off the bat to be like, yeah, you did great. All right, now play real people and never win again.
It's so for those that don't, I've been playing it too, and they were the developers. I forget the name of the developer. Sorry about that. They were kind enough to gift us just like they call it like the Wizards pack, but all it is just nice looking armor and stuff, like a different type of spell, nothing more important. So it's like a fantasy style Fortnite, the battle royale game. You're dropped onto an island, a medieval island, and there's a storm, and they legit call it the storm, just like they did with all the other games. And the storm, the eye of the storm keeps getting smaller and smaller, and keeps eliminating people as they stay too far out. And your goal is to just stay alive as long as possible. The first match, it's got to be against bots because, I get to I knocked out a few people. There wasn't very many playing. I don't think there was there's probably like 3 people that I came across total, and nobody landed a hit on me. And I ended up winning my first round too, and then I think I won my second and third rounds as well, or the matches. But it's like medieval Fortnite. And I think there could be a definite market for this for the folks that are kind of sick of like typical shooter style. Maybe they just want to try something a little bit different. But it plays a lot like Fortnite. Except you don't have like any real melee attacks. It's all distance type of spells. Hence the name Spellbreak.
Yeah, the real action in that game is going to be the combination of those spells. Basically, you can have one spell on one arm, and that does, for at least from the ones I've seen, basically a shot, like a line of sight, like a fireball type thing, and then also like an AoE spell. But then you can combo those spells together. So if you you can set up like a poison cloud, and then if you shoot that with a fireball, it'll explode and like push out that poison. So there's different combinations of attacks and moves that you can do that will have consequences in battle, and that's really what the inciting action is here. And hopefully people come up with some really cool ways of like using defensive spells and offensive spells to like basically push the tempo of battle, where you're not, I guess you are building in a way if you're using some type of spell as defense to like set up barriers between you and another person, but you could also just be hyper aggressive. And
what are the cooldowns like? Like you mentioned, there's like a poison cloud you can put down. Like if you put that down, how long until you can put another one down? And if you put a second one down, does that remove the first one?
So that's a loaded question that I don't fully know the answer to yet. So there is like a cooldown whenever you cast that. Like if we're talking specifically about the poison one, there's a cooldown on that, setting up that cloud. I think it's like 12, 13 seconds when
Something
it starts.
like that, the poison one.
Yeah. And then your shot also has it uses mana, which you can have like a hover ability where if you jump and then hold A, you can do a little bit of floating. So you've got to think about those resources in battle. Trying to think, but the farther you make it, like if you get into the second storm closing and stuff like that, some of those spells level up. So it adapts, and like I believe there was something, I don't know if it was the poison cloud, but there was one where I could stack like 2 at a time, right? And then I got the cooldown, that 12-second cooldown again. So later in the game, if somebody pushed on me, I could set up those clouds. And
Is there like a magic missile equivalent for when you're out of mana but you're in the middle of a fight?
I don't think so. I think there is still that mana recovery period.
Yep.
And that's on a cooldown too, which of course there are items then that can expand that mana cooldown and expand the amount of mana you have, and then also I believe lower your cooldown on that in a set given a time and stuff like that.
I do like there's like chests and items and loot all over the place, and I do like how they'll tell you, you'll come up to something and it'll say you have a better weapon, don't bother picking this up. Like don't your weapon, you're already equipped with something better and stronger, and I'll just like keep running past it and stuff. So, but yeah, I was in a battle with one, and so you get to kind of explain a little bit further. You get assigned weapons to each trigger. So both of the L triggers and the R triggers have variations. So you can have, like, let's say fire on one side and like electricity or something on the other side, or ice on one side and electric, lightning on the other side. And there's two different types of modes, I think, right, Sam? And then there's like something also in the middle too. You have like the A button will give you something special as well. There's a few different attacks, a few different ways to do attacks and to do range and scaled attacks and weapons and stuff. But for the most part, it all kind of falls back either waiting for the spell to recharge or mana, and then just making sure you have enough. I feel like you kind of need to have enough space between you and whoever it is you're facing off against, just so you can have that time to avoid one of their attacks if they shoot something out at you, and then it'll give you like a second or two to help recharge your own mana. But again, I don't know if I've just been playing against a lot of bots or if there are other people playing. I'm not 100% sure, because it's been fairly easy so far.
Are there emotes? Can you dab?
Emotes. Yeah, you can
what does a wizard dab?
I haven't seen a dab yet. I've seen like a hi, hello. I think the one that I switched it to is hello, and then there's like a clap, and then there's like something else. They have a bunch of things. There's emotes. There's I'm trying to remember. I don't have the Switch in front of me, but yeah, there are a few things.
Is there a skin of Ninja, the esports player, not the character from?
Did he donate? I don't fucking know if he donated. You know what? We can be the ninjas. We can be wizard. We'll just call ourselves wizard, and then we'll be the wizard. Well, that maybe there's some connotations to that. Actually, maybe we want to use like grand wizard as our name. Yeah, there are some variations on there. I'm not. I'll have to spend more. I've literally only played like 3 or 4 matches, and that was it. So. I'm not a huge fan of the UI either, because I had to select. You can't, if you hit play, it'll just keep you in the tutorial. It'll keep sending you the tutorial. You have to actually select like what do you want to play. So you'll select there's tutorial, practice, and battle royale, and that's it. I don't know why you would have 3 giant. I don't know why you would have the tutorial if you've already gone through it as like one of the main 3 menu items. Even practice, you should just the play button should literally be just jumping into the battle royale, but it's a little slight confusion in the UX there. But I don't know. I have to have more time playing it. I reckon you probably will have to have some time too, right, Sam? Maybe we'll talk more about it next week. But
yeah, it's apparently crossplay.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So I believe it's on pretty much everything. I'm not sure if it's on mobile, but Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Worth a try, at least, if you're into battle royale games, I think.
I might have to maybe we'll stream it next time just on the show. Maybe that'll be our Friday show. It'll just be Spellbreak. Streaming on the side. What else have you been playing? Anything?
No, that's it for me.
Hey guys, I've been playing something, and I'm going to show you guys, and feel free to ask me all about it. I'm going to go full size right now. Do you guys see that?
Yeah,
it's called here. I'm going to hide the banner off the top here in case I decide to record this stuff later on. There we go. Bam. Yeah, I've been playing Star Renegades. We got the review code for this last week, and I put a little bit of time into it. This is essentially a pixel style. I got it says 4.5 hours into it, but I had to delete my save and kind of start over. I actually had probably about 2 hours in before then, and then had to do a restart, but technical issues. I'm still playing on my crappy old computer. By the way, I have ordered a new laptop, which is kind of nice. So it will actually run a lot better than what you're seeing here. So Star Renegades is sort of this strategy tactic. I always get those two things confused, strategy and tactics, but it's a 2D pixels turn-based JRPG tactical style, or no, strategy style, sorry. JRPG type of thing, turn-based roguelike, where every time you die, you get zapped into a different, you kind of start over and you keep some of your elements and you go forward. Well, their conceit in this is that you don't necessarily die, you just get zapped into another reality. So right when you're on the verge of death, you'll get sucked out and put into a different reality, and that's sort of your start over mode there. And that kind of gets that roguelike going, because essentially the bad guys are out and about trying to take over each reality one by one, and your goal is to stop them. So you control this little bot guy as you're kind of going around. You have your team. I'll show you. Let's see here. Can I show my team here? No, I don't have my team set up. You have a team, and I'll show you in a second here. I wanted to show this thing first because check it out. It's a dog. And what do you do with dogs? Pet the dog, right?
Yeah.
Why did you just touch my head?
Oh, they subverted it.
Going around doing this, and you keep doing it, and he'll keep saying stuff. What's wrong with you? He gets very mad and very angry, starts swearing at you. What do you think this is? Because I'm a dog, you feel like you could just keep tapping my head? To the point where he says, I don't think you're going to stop. What if I just start repeating myself? Will that make you stop? Fine, we'll give it a shot. And he just starts repeating himself as an interesting way to do it. Anyways, that's how you get away from petting the dog. So I'm going to take you into sort of the main mode here. You get dropped into or you select your team. I've opened up a few of these players already. I'm going to have, I like the team that I have this setup right here. So let's go with Win, Zerks, whatever his name is, and Nodo. Yeah, that's good. That's my team right there. So they all have obviously different classes. Defender, shielders, things like that. And you can level up your characters each time and kind of get them better. And in between realities, in between deaths, you kind of lose those levels, but you keep sort of your overall level and capability. And so, again, don't mind that it's slower. Right now, you're watching it on an old-ass computer with a really bad graphics card. It's defaulting to the Intel graphics card. That's not really working. So what's kind of cool is there's a bunch of different planets that you can take on, and they're all procedurally generated, and they all have these sort of commanders, right? So I can kind of cycle through these commanders. You can take out a group of these 5 commanders on each planet. If they kill you, then they get promoted from like a warrior to a commander to a general to whatever. So they get stronger as they go up, and you eventually face off against them later on. So this guy killed me last time, Calberus, but this mofo is going to be going down. So you have all these others. Some of these haven't been opened up. Calicarn, I took him out, and here's kind of their main guy, the Behemoth. So you get 3 days on each planet. You have to clear out as much of the planet as you can, and then the Behemoth will come down. Behemoth is this giant mech. So here we go. We get dropped onto the planet here. The Behemoth is this giant mech that comes down. There's my little team there. And look at that. I'm going to go into battle here. And you get essentially what amounts to 3 unlocks per day. So there's 3 days, 3 unlocks per day. And the unlocks are basically letting you unlock different sections of the map. So you can unlock 3 areas. And then after the 3rd one, your day gets, reset to the next day. And you go into these battles. Sometimes you'll have battles. Each of these things, you see my little thing at the top there. It tells me where in the battle timeline my move will take place. So because I've started over, or because my characters died the last time, I get started back at level 1, which means I don't have a lot of the same gear or the same level and attacks that I had before. So I start off right now with sort of the simple and slash and cleave. So there's different types. It works on a paper rock scissors method. So there's certain attacks are stronger. So You can sort of select and view the different enemies. I really love the visual style, though. It's just absolutely stunning what they've done with the pixel art and the whole scroll. It's like the Mode 7 from the Super NES and parallax scrolling and everything. It just works really well. It's like they had Photoshop class before they started making this game and put all the effects in there. But I'm going to select, if I select Cleave, then the enemies who are on the bottom part of that sort of timeline, they'll attack first. If I select Slash, that puts me actually ahead of them. Obviously, it's a weaker attack, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to attack this dude because I think he's a little bit weaker. So there's a shield. The blue is the shield, and the red, the bar you see above each one, is their actual health. And it looks like my Slash attack, which is a normal attack, is going to be real good for that dude up top. Let's see what Zerks can do. Discharge can take out both those guys. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to attack both them. And then finally, what I like about this guy, Nodo, is that if I do Blitz, he can essentially take away turns from the enemy. So there's at the top of the, or if you look at the little icon on the chart next to the enemy they're on the bottom part of that timeline, you see a little number, it says 2. If I can get that down to 0, especially with an attack, then that'll push him off the timeline. It basically wipes out his move or his turn for the timeline. So I'm going to do that. Let's see if I do this guy. Oh, there you go. Break. That means he's going to be pushed off the timeline. I'm going to break his attack, his turn, and then he won't have a chance to attack me. So I'm going to do that first. Bam. I get shot off there. I don't have to worry about his attack later, but I do have to worry about the other dude who is he's got Cannon Blast equipped. I'm not 100% sure what enemy that is, but all right. Now I'm going to attack with this guy with Win, or attack with her, and then bam, there we go. I broke them. So I got them both wiped off out of their turn off the timeline, which is really helpful for me because now I can, basically get the second set of moves. So early on, these battles are fairly quick. The first few battles you take on, but when you go up against the behemoths, they are pretty difficult. And I lost the first couple times fairly easily against the behemoths. Again, they're just these giant enemies. They come at the end of the 3-day sort of timeline. And if you're able to, you can, if you're able to beat them, you get to move on to the next planet and keep harvesting. And there is an end game, but what I'm finding really fun about this isn't that you're trying to complete this game. It's that you're going again. The fun of a roguelike is kind of repeating things over and over again and perfecting things and really enjoying the sequences that take you from the beginning and that repetition. And in this game, especially where it's just absolutely stunning to look at. I mean, I love the look of this. Right now it's on Steam and Game Pass for PC, but it'll be coming to consoles at some point. I'm not 100% sure when. So you see I've killed that first guy there. I'm just going to knock this dude out and call it a night there. Kill shot. There we go. Cool. So it's just really pretty to look at. You can spend the majority of your time looking at these little mini attacks. It reminds me of like the Magitech armor scenes from Final Fantasy VI real early on. I think they may have drawn some inspiration from there. So this is the team. Massive Damage is the developer. This is the team that's behind Halcyon 6, which they did a fantastic job on that. I think I have that on every gaming device. They do a really great job. And you can see this overworld. I mean, it's kind of tiny. Your character's in there, but it's really just kind of meant to showcase, to show off more of a map. It reminds me a little bit of No Man's Sky in how every planet and every zone is completely different. But so here I am. I've kind of made it through this area. I can walk through here. There's, I can either check the DNA that. So DNA is what lets you actually update your levels. Look, so the level up thing on the left-hand side went live. So I'm going to level up. Let's level up right now. I'm going to hit that button. And I have enough to level up all three. I have 7 DNA points, which is basically the experience points. I can level up any of these 3 characters. And I'm gonna go with my main, which is Win. She's sort of the one that sorry about that. Let me get back to that real quick. She's the one that's kind of running the storyline, the plot line. So here we go. I'm gonna level her up to level 2, and she gets some health, and there's a new power, Battle Cry. And the Battle Cry is kind of interesting. So you get those kind of initial attacks. There are secondary attacks. I'll show that to you right now. They're basically called, I think they're called Fury moves, but you build up this almost like AP in a Final Fantasy game. So you see the Fury on the left-hand side. If I get that to a certain point, that Battle Cry will become active, and that gives you these team moves. Hey, Jeff Grubb. Yes, this is a video game. Jeff Grubb, everybody. So I'm going to use the Cleave. I'm going to take out this mech over here. Some of these earlier battles are against robots, and then you get into more of the one-on-one with humans and aliens and stuff. So I'm going to knock this guy back, and bam. I haven't come across anything like a summon yet or anything like that. Obviously, if you die enough times, you're going to get kind of screwed and you won't get that far. But yeah, it's really freaking pretty to look at. And it reminds me of, it has like elements of Akira thrown in there. It's got some really kind of goofy alien stuff. It definitely has that. I don't know if I wouldn't call it an RTS, but there's definitely a little bit of strategy involved in some of these battles. So let's try take out that dude and both the enemies. Oh no, I can knock both these guys back. And one has 0. My boy over there has 0 next to it now. So I can actually knock him off the timeline just like that. Bam. And I've actually killed him. But yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. This game is a blast. It's a roguelike. I've got maybe about 7 hours into it total between my 2 playthroughs and having to restart, and I'm totally fine restarting it because there's so much you can do with it, and it has jumped. It's in my top 5 already for this year. It's an absolute blast. I cannot recommend. Oh, here's Battle Cry. Battle Cry is available, so she has Battle Cry available now. Applies to all the allies. They all get inspired. They all get, in this case, they have 50% damage against this bad guy. Not that it matters because one hit and this dude's gone. I probably shouldn't have even used it, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. I am absolutely loving this game. Shoot me some questions. You guys have any questions? Ask me anything about this.
Yeah. Hey, baby. So I have 2 questions right off the top. When you were showing your team select, there were a bunch of characters you hadn't unlocked yet, but there were characters that you had unlocked but that were locked. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So there are some of the characters are story based, so you have to actually access them into the story. You might meet them early on, but you can't get them yet. Some of them you've caught up to them in the previous reality, but you haven't activated them in this reality yet, and so there's kind of those different ways of interacting with characters. I gotta go this way. Okay. Oops. But you can buy teammates as well, so you can increase your battle party through buying teammates and going kind of on the mercenary market. And like I said, some are just based off of the actual plot, the storyline you go through. So and this is the overworld. The overworld, again, you can kind of go around. There's not a whole lot to do. You can open some chests. You can find some loot, coins and stuff, because there is gold and coins. But you want to use it up before you die, because as soon as you die, you lose all the gold and anything you've kind of built up. So it really is kind of important to continually spend and open up your characters, your kind of overall meta as you go along. But yeah, I think you can have only 3 in your party at a time, and you can actually set. Like I'll show you right now. You can set. I'm getting attacked. But you can set where they're located on the battle screen. For instance, if you have, like, I have my main sort of attack fighter in the front, and I can have my magic users or my bio users in the back, my healers in the back. And this dude, Zerx or Zers, whatever he's called, can kind of restore shield. Can't really restore health, but it can restore shields. and so I've been using them later on because your health is a persistence thing. Your shields will recharge after every battle. But yeah, so the characters you can change them. I think in between, in kind of certain areas and in between planets. But once you get on a planet, I believe during those like 3 days that you're on there, you can't change your character.
So the 3 days thing with each planet, is that broken up with like how kind of Persona does it, where you're basically on each of those days trying to see how far you can get into like that map particular in that day, and then you know, risk reward of how far do you push your health and shields and mana or whatever, and then come back like the next day fully charged again, or maybe not recovery.
So it's so you see that the map, the overworld that I was showing you, right?
Yeah,
not necessarily on this one, but when you get to the actual kind of there's sort of this intro hub area. That was where we had that cantina, and we had the pet the dog there. But you'll kind of get far enough here in this general overworld. You'll get launched to a planet once there's attack. So here we go. Kill Barrick. Barrick is the dude I got to take out. And your lives now. Okay, sounds good. Once I take care of him, I'll get access to go to the planet and take on the behemoth. And the behemoth is sort of like the in Mass Effect, where they have the big giant mechs that kind of come and wipe out humanity. Your goal is to clear out everything on a planet and take out all those generals before the behemoth gets there, or take as many as you can before the behemoth gets there, so you can level yourself up, and then you take on the behemoth and hopefully beat it. And the way that they're set up is you get 3, that little droid buddy that I had there, you get 3 disarmaments or kind of like, I don't know if they're explosives or disarmaments, whatever they are, but basically you can unlock 3 locks on the overworld. And they usually relate to like taking different paths. Sometimes you can miss areas completely if you're not careful. Like I on my first run, I completely missed a bunch of chests that were open, and I was kind of kicking myself because I knew there were some cool weapons and upgrades that I could have used there. So I was a little bit bummed. But basically depending on how far I go with the unlocks, I can make my way all the way around again. You get 3 unlocks per day, so you can unlock 3 areas, and then you get to nighttime. And nighttime, you can kind of traverse in any one of those areas. You might find a little bit of loot that you may have missed, but basically everything you've already unlocked becomes available to you. And then you go into a sort of a camp scene, I guess. There's like a campsite, and in the campsite, you're able to use these battle cards, I guess, I don't know if they're called compassion or whatever they are, but they let you build up hearts with your teammates. So your different teammates can build up kind of capabilities with each other. And if you get far enough along, if you build up enough hearts with each of the characters, they can start doing big combo attacks together, which is kind of a cool added bonus. There are a lot of like little cogs and wheels that are constantly spinning in this game. All these different sort of mechanisms that kind of work together, but it takes essentially going through your first death to really realize what all of those are. But yeah, so you get 3 unlocks. Once you've used up those 3 unlocks, you go to the campsite scene, and then day 2 starts, and you do the same 3 again. Campsite, and then day 3, campsite, and you're fighting the behemoth.
Okay. Yeah, and it flows well. It's not totally. It's not like arbitrarily slow between turns.
No, it's
like that.
Once you get used to the whole time thing at the top, I think that like the timeline at the top, the AP battle system, I guess you can call it, it really opens up your battles immensely. So when they first created this game, when they were first showing this game, I think we saw it at PAX East like 2 years ago or something, or last year. They still don't have a lot of like the shifting screens. It was more of zoom in and zoom out. Now they've added like some of the 3D and the lighting effects, and it really is pretty badass to see. I'm not doing it any justice on this stream. You really kind of have to play it. I mean, if you have Game Pass, just get it. I mean, this is worth the $10 for the month by far. But like it's gorgeous to look at. I think the work that they've done over the last year has been something it's really admirable to see them pull off. So I'm gonna try to just whip this guy. Let me recharge the shield on my main, and then I'm gonna take this guy out of the level here. I want to show you guys the sort of planetary portion. I may not make it though, just in the essence of time. But yeah, it's turn-based. There's a little bit of strategy involved. There's this overworld. It's like a mix of a lot of different things put together. But God, it works so well, and it flows so nicely. It's so nicely, and the writing is actually pretty good too. It's got some decent jokes. I mean, you saw that pet the dog joke. And there's a bunch of little kind of character interactions that work together really well too. So yeah, Star Renegades, can't recommend it enough. It's a really good game, and I have a feeling the more that I play, okay, there we go. I took care of him. Almost. The more that I play this game, I have a feeling that I'm going to be, it's going to be creeping its way up my list more and more for the end of the year stuff. I'd love to see them just put a bunch of expansions for this out later on, like they did with Halcyon 6.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, there we go. Star Renegades. Good shit. Yummy.
I want you to know that between the time that you started the first battle and right now, I resubscribed to Game Pass, downloaded this game, and now I'm sitting on the start menu.
Hell yeah, that's my boy. No, yeah, this is. It's worth it. They gave us the review code last week, towards the end of last week, and there we go. I took this guy out, but you can obviously getting it on Game Pass is great. So you get this. Here's the camping card. You get this camping card. I'm gonna stash it right now. So this camping card, I defeated the adversary lieutenant, and I can get. Basically, you get like little bonuses. So you can get like attack bonuses, and you can get health bonuses where. For the next 2 battles, your health will be greater than it normally is, or your shields will be greater, or your attacks will be greater. So there, I took care of. I took out that kind of general or that commander. I deserved it. He got killed, and now the other guys start to get promoted and get added to the battle. So it reminds me of the battle system of what was that? The
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, there you go. Shadow of Mordor, where you start running into those guys again. I mean, that's basically what this is like. So, yeah. So, right now, check it out. All right, objective. Great job. Slice and dice those bogeys, baby. And now I'm going to go to, so I'm going to show you the camp right now. Let's see. Does it go to camp right now? There we go. Here's the camping mode. Bam. So, I can, start chat with my boys. You get 5 actions. Each of these cards costs a different action. This one's, so I need to heal. Definitely need to heal. So, I can heal. Yeah, I'm going to heal this dude over here. That way his life is all filled up. And we go from there. And they build up their hearts with each other. And it all works out really nicely. So very cool. Love the game. Totally recommend everybody picking it up and playing it. That's it. Star Renegades. I'll stop sharing and go back to talk about news.
News of the world.
News of the world. World.
Yeah, there is some news. I do have a selection of news stories, which I'm pulling up right here, and minimizing that game that I just installed. Hey, do you guys remember when everybody was pissed off that EA added a bunch of in-game ads into UFC 4?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, apparently people were really pissed off about that. And now as of, I think yesterday, maybe today, as of September 6th, as of 2 days ago, EA has removed the ads from UFC 4 game ads. The quote is saying,
Get it, everybody.
It is abundantly clear from your feedback that integrating ads is not welcome.
Yep, we don't want giant ads overtaking our screens that we did not ask for because we paid for the game.
I don't understand why they have to keep learning this lesson. They keep trying this and it doesn't work.
It's a bad habit, and you're right. EA tends to do it way too often, over and over again. And you'd think that they would have learned by now, right?
You would hope, but they really like their money.
They like their money, yeah.
What
was the ad for this time? Was it like Tenet or something?
Something like that, yeah. Which apparently sucks. Apparently, people have seen it and it sucks, which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to it. Hey, that whole Epic Games thing on the Apple Store is crazy, right?
Still crazy.
Still crazy. They've come out and said that they're projecting $26 million monthly loss following the termination of their account.
Oof.
Which I assume is like that must be people who only use the iPhone who were spending money on Fortnite through the iPhone, and now they will spend money elsewhere on the iPhone instead of just spending money in Fortnite on any other platform.
So wait, Apple says they're going to lose that much money, or
Epic Games says Epic says they're going to lose that much money, $26 million a month.
Nice,
$26 million a month,
all because of Apple, baby.
Yeah, and Apple is seeking damages for breach of contract against Epic Games. They're suing them, which is actually a countersuit.
Yes,
the whole thing's a mess. It's a mess and it's gross, and I hope they both go bankrupt.
It's becoming you. Okay, I'm going to say this in a politically correct way. You can't be for either of these two companies. Neither of them are doing things how I feel like ethically. Also, neither of them. You can't hate either of them in a way, but you definitely can't be like for either of them because they're both kind of being major dicks right now. Is that the best way to say it?
Yeah. I will say this. If Tim Sweeney wants to give me $1 million, I will champion him to the grave.
And that works. Yeah. That's we can work with that.
I'm just throwing that out there. Like, you pay me and I will support the hell out of you. I'll do anything for $1 million. Ask me what I won't do. What else? This is one of those things that I thought was interesting. It's not really news. You guys remember Team Fortress 2?
Yeah, I remember that game.
Apparently, players have written bots that deliberately use cheat software, but they're programmed to only target cheaters.
Oh, that's kind of badass, actually.
Yeah. So you go into a match, and there are bots with like very specific names. And all they do is like wall hack and aimbot cheaters. If anytime they detect cheats, which they can detect because they're using them, so they can see when people are cheating, they just specifically target them and they leave the normal players alone. So
that's something that Valve should actually, that's something that companies should be kind of pro and encourage in a weird way, right? You kind of say, hey, if you guys help us develop this, throw it in our,
well, it's interesting because
then we'll look at implementing it.
It's interesting because the players of Team Fortress 2 have long been unhappy with Valve because Valve does essentially nothing to curb cheating in that game.
It's true.
And so, yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I imagine that'll be subverted by cheat software developers very quickly. I mean, if you can make it so that you can aimbot and wall hack anybody on a server, surely you can code it so that you first target the bots, right? So, I'm digging through stories here because there's the two big ones that I'm saving for the end. Flambeer's done.
That's a bummer. I saw that in they had the good, was it like 10 years?
It's the 10-year anniversary, and on the 10-year anniversary, they announced that they were done. They're releasing their final game, Ultra Bugs, and then they are moving on to other things. It sucks because they make a lot of cool games. But I mean, I guess like they want to do some other shit, and they're not parting enemies, and they're not gone bankrupt, and they didn't milkshake duck themselves. So
how did we start before Flambeer and outlast Flambeer at SideQuesting? What the hell's wrong with us? Yep. Well, Flambeer, great developer over there. Yeah, they wanted to do it before they milkshake ducked themselves, and
I'm sure like they'll be done, and then I'm sure Rami Ishmael will come up with something else like just absolutely incredible in a couple of years.
It's like everything else he does. I mean, he created a bunch of the indie press kits and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's him.
Yep.
He's just bored. He's He's like, you know what? I'm going to invent a cure for cancer today because I was bored.
Yeah.
Get on it, Remy.
This isn't a cure for cancer, but probably makes people feel just as good as not having cancer. Hey, how about those 30 series cards?
Yeah, buddy.
So those are kind of crazy. So here's a little backstory. I just got a 1060.
Okay.
Like literally 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a 970 or a 980 or something for the longest time. And then I happened to get my hands on a 1060 for cheap. And that was like crazy. And now the RTX 30 series cards are coming out. And the 3070 is only going to be like $400, like $499 or
something. Baby.
$499 American. So it's still going to be like $800 Canadian. But it would normally be like what, $1,200-$1,600 for the 3070. The 3080, I think, is launching at $699 or $899.
Then they have their top end was a 3090.
The 3090 is launching at $1,500, I think, which is also ridiculous because the 3090 is supposed to be like the 30 series equivalent of like the Titan.
Mm-hmm,
and didn't the Titan launch at like $2,500?
Crazy. Yeah. That's when the Bitcoin mining stuff was at its heyday, right? Everyone was buying those Titans.
And so the reason that I find this like so interesting, somebody it kind of dovetails into the other story I've been sitting on. The price for the Xboxes came out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're launching at $299 for the tiny one and $499 for the big beefy boy.
The $499 hasn't been officially confirmed, but everybody knows it's $499 because the $299 was confirmed, and that was the rumor was for both of those.
Right.
Yeah.
So
$499.
So those prices got leaked for the Xboxes. Yep. And a friend of mine hit me up, as they always do when something weird happens in the industry. They said, "How much of a loss are they taking on these boxes?" And I was like, honestly, it can't be as much as you would think.
Right.
These cards are launching at like ridiculously lower prices.
I gotta wonder if
also those 3070s are never going to be in stock.
No,
they're never going to get one.
No, for sure. So my whole theory on that Xbox pricing, and I'm going to flip back to the 3070s in a second, actually. The Xbox pricing is, and it does tie into the graphics card because when you have a real custom chipset and you're able to you can actually go with like, I don't want to say lower quality graphics cards, but cheaper graphics cards because you're optimizing the hell out of those in ways that, with consoles, you're not meant to swap out graphics cards for a reason, right? They're meant to be highly optimized for that device, that platform, that layout. So you can get away with a less powerful graphics card that pumps out stuff that's very close to what those higher ends do because you're essentially buying the full environment and everything is designed specifically for that. So I think that's probably why you're able to get that $499 price. That $299 price, that is weaker than the Xbox One X, right? It's basically replacing the series or the Xbox One S with the SAD edition, the all digital edition. It's replacing that with a slight bump or with a bump in processing power. But I guess that's meant to really be the Game Pass and xCloud box that they've been pimping. That's the one that's going to sell. I think that's going to sell a lot more this year than the Series X will because there's no need for any. Oops, and my phone is now listening to me. There's no need, I wouldn't believe, for a high-end box this year if the stuff that's coming out isn't necessarily high-end. You can get $299 for the next quote-unquote next gen, and then just upgrade later on. And they want to sell the console. I think you saw was it like $30 or $25, whatever it was, the monthly fee, the 2-year monthly fee, included with like Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. That's a hell of a deal now when you think about the all digital edition. And so, yeah, I don't think for graphic card wise for that, I think they're able to optimize really nicely. And I think the pricing is the $299 price is awesome. Now I'm suddenly like, maybe I could kind of be convinced to move on to the next gen with the Series S. Definitely not the Series X yet, but I think there's something kind of there to the Series S.
Yeah. So like that's all hitting at the same time.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, and it's just I don't know, like every year there's 2 or 3 points during the year where we do predictions.
Mm-hmm.
And my predictions are always based off like a tiny little hint of something like innocuous and just a gut feeling, basically.
Sure.
And I like to toot my own horn.
No, you.
So I'm gonna toot my own horn. My predictions are usually decent.
They are, yeah.
So I'm looking at these prices and I'm going like, well, this just seems like it seems like something happened. Like they're like somewhere deep in a laboratory, like an R&D laboratory somewhere, they made a breakthrough and now all this shit's coming out cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I think about that and then I go, bet the PS5 is going to be $699.
That would be a killer. That would be over for the PS. I wouldn't spend that much. I wouldn't spend $599.
No,
$499 is the top end for me for that.
And like even then, like that
even then
Xbox.
So I ordered my new PC. I'm getting a laptop, and I'm getting one with a 2070 built in. I think it's the Max Q 2070. And it's an MSI. I got a good price on it. It was like $1,600 or $1,500, whatever that was. With the specific thoughts that I'm going to get an external enclosure to run a 3070 later on, right? Down the line. But I needed something that could keep up. Obviously, you saw my crappy computer performance here, and it still held up in a way with a 5-year-old laptop. But I was hesitant to, for a split second, after I saw those prices and I saw the 30 series, I thought, crap, there's some neat things you can do with the desktop. Unfortunately, I am very much a travel laptop guy, and whether I'm at my desk, I will take my laptop with me to the living room, or I'll go to the coffee shop, and I've been getting into doing some game dev stuff, and I can't sit in one spot to do that. I need to carry stuff with me. I ain't gonna take a desktop with me. Sorry. But I saw the prices on that 30 series, and I thought, I could get a higher mid-range laptop, and then go for external card down the line. Drop the bucks for that when I think I'm ready to actually get something a little more, concrete. But I know the power, you get like a 20 or 30% loss in power, but it's still better than having the stock 2070 anyways. So that's some good prices, man. Whew, some good shit right there.
It's kind of blowing my mind because like I mentioned that I only just got my 1060.
Yep.
And I only just got a 1060 because I'm willing to wait and play games on shitty settings to save money. And then they're like, oh yeah, the 3070 is going to cost fucking nothing.
The price of of your 1060.
Yeah, I paid $400 for the card I have in here, and now I could get a 1060 for slightly more than that. It's crazy. It's like I'm like, do I just immediately jump to the 3070?
You probably should.
I think I have enough power supply in there to handle it. That's the one thing about the 30 series cards, power hogs.
Yeah, that's true. They really are power hogs. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, like I could just buy one. I could just have a 3070 and be like, yeah, I've got the greatest I've got the third greatest GPU card in existence right now. I'm gonna play Cyberpunk and it's gonna be awesome. But
good stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, the big news, like the 30 series cards are interesting. They're coming out. Hold on,
September, next 2 weeks from now, basically.
Yeah, two of them are in 2 weeks. One of them is in a month.
Okay.
I don't have the exact. I can't. Okay, September 17th, the 3080 is coming out. September 24th, the 3090 is coming out. And those are $699 and $14.99 American plus tax. And then the 3070 is $499, and it's coming in October.
It's it's gonna prevent PC folk from jumping into next gen at those prices, because right at that point you're on the edge of like people thinking, wow, this is a big boost to from where I am right now, and those prices are next gen consoles.
Yeah, and it's like the like $4.99 is the rumored Xbox Boy Edition price, and it's like, well, I could get the Xbox, or I could buy this video. I could buy the 3070.
It's what a continually mixed up year this has been for gaming. Just understanding what's happening, who's charging what's coming out, when it's coming out, and it just continues to get murkier and murkier. And the options are growing and not shrinking as more stuff is getting delayed and more things are not being discussed. Like the Xbox Series S stuff was probably due either later this week or next week. It was not going to be dropped this week. It was not going to be dropped today like it was. All the leaks over the weekend got them forced their hand, right?
And now the rumors that Sony's like, oh, we gotta, like, they were planning on, but they're going to be doing a thing too. I'm pretty sure.
The rumor is end of this week. You're finding out some from Sony, and
it has to be the price. Like, it has
because Apple has their event coming up in a couple weeks, and that's going to dominate, tech blogs for like 2-3, for like a week and a half. So Sony's got to get their information out before that happens, because otherwise people are going to start wondering if they should pre-order the next iPhone or Samsung phone instead of the next PlayStation. So
so it's going to be wild.
What other news you got?
No, that was it. That was there were other minor stories, but those two, the cards and the Xbox, were kind of the big ones, and I held off to the end of what I had, just because they're interesting. Like, it's been it's a breath of fresh air that we haven't had a bunch of dog shit from the industry in the news. Like, we just had like good speculation on tech.
Yes, I love it. Love it. Hey, I got a couple stories I can throw in, because it's the prerequisite Nintendo stories that we throw in every week. But
that I never touch, because I don't know.
You never touch, because we're gonna touch anyways. Hey Sam, are you getting that Mario 35th anniversary?
Whoop whoop. Yeah, you mean 3D All Stars, the game that you think you called the name to about 3 months ago or something like that?
Mario 3D All Stars. So for the history behind this, it was first hinted at back in February. I think IGN on one of their podcasts actually mentioned, don't be surprised if there's a collection, like I think Pierre Schneider or someone said, don't be surprised if there's a collection of 3D Mario games at some point, maybe even this year. And then towards the end of spring, that started really bubbling up. Good folks like our great friend Jeff Grubb, he really picked up on a lot of that information and really kind of got to which games they were. I think he even mentioned that like 3D World was initially going to be a part of it, and then it was pulled out of it. And so it's a thing. It's the Mario 35th anniversary is a big, it's their next collection for Nintendo. What is it? Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy.
See.
Yep. Just the first one, though.
Just the first one, yeah. They got to sell that second one separately. And they're only available till the end of March.
Yeah, that whole video, and I mean, we'll get into even more Nintendo Shadow drops in a second, but they just kind of launched one morning a collection of news. Now, I mean, we kind of heard the rumors about Super Mario 3D World coming out again with maybe some additional content. We found out that was Bowser's Fury. And this 3D All-Stars collection. Yep. But I had not heard anything about this Mario Kart RC kind of game that they're releasing, right? Mario Kart Live. I think there's another subtitle to that, but basically a RC AR experience where you can just set up a Mario Kart RC game that has a little camera. It looks like kind of an F1 car, has a little camera on the top of it, and then you can play Mario Kart levels that you lay out using, I guess you drive the path and go through these different markers. You can play at least 2-player locally. It seems like they're going to sell a Mario and Luigi kart, so you can experience 2-player as well as race virtually with, different Mario Kart characters in an AR simulation around your own house or wherever you choose to play.
Yeah. So the first time I heard about anything, I didn't know anything about Mario Kart, right? Nintendo is still sort of milking the phone game, and they're milking Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on on the Switch proper. And a lot of people wanted, maybe there's an F-Zero game coming, or there's a Mario Kart 9, because that's going to be a big old system seller for sure. But Mario Kart 8 is doing so well already. Why would you stop selling Mario Kart 8 with the next Mario Kart game? Well, I think it was her name's Tiffany Treadmore. She's the one that runs the Hot Girls account. Was it I forget it. Hot Girl Videos 69. Shout out to Tiff. She'd been kind of hinting at stuff the last couple of weeks. I think she posted the Labo, and then she posted Ring Fit, and then she's like, I wonder what's next. There's something coming up. And I obviously didn't know it was Mario Kart, but that was something that her and her team. I have a fly in here. Dang it. How's there a mosquito inside? Sorry. That they've been kind of talking about. It's the end. It's summer's over. It's fall. Anyway, so you knew something physical was when they kind of mentioned that that rumor started bubbling up. You kind of figured something physical was coming. But Mario Kart, to me, dude, this is right up my alley. I love cars. I love RC cars. I love Mario Kart, and I have a nice big open floor space with like a wooden floor in a lot of these areas and tile and stuff, and removable rugs. And my Wi-Fi reaches outside on the street and on my driveway. So you better believe I'll be setting up a kart track, of course, on my driveway, and having the other gamer dudes, the gamer dads from the neighborhood, come over and play with me. Please, somebody come play with me. And it's kind of badass. I think it's up to 4 players though, right? I think they said 4 players, but only 2 carts so far, right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that. In the trailer they showed, there was only 2 people playing.
Okay. I think the number was it's up to 4 players, but they only gave 2 Marios and 2 Luigis, or Mario and Luigi so far. I reckon that they'll probably, if there's a lot of real popularity for this, they'll release, Princess Toadstool and or Princess Peach, whatever her name is, and I don't know. You'll probably see like a Yoshi or someone else get dropped later on, depending how popular this is. But
I think it was you that mentioned in the past about like this is Nintendo leveraging the Disney aspect of their company.
Yeah, it really is.
Sort of like love for Mario in both like the games and also as just a generic character. Mm-hmm. I think now, and what's nice is Nintendo seems to be playing a real key role in some of these expansions of their content. Mm-hmm. This one is arguably a Switch game, but it's probably going to be sold in a toy aisle, a game aisle, I would assume. It's kind of them reaching out. I think some of the other 35th anniversary stuff they're doing with like the Lego NES set. Mm-hmm. Like seems like just a master stroke of
totally
like wanting to represent your brand as perfect as possible. Even with their sort of like interactive stuff, it's at least a very good representation of what Mario is. And if Mario's going to be a fun game, no matter where Mario is, then this sort of Lego interactive set is really the best way to go about it, other than just building. I built. The Mushroom Kingdom or whatever. Even though a full Lego set of Peach's Castle would be cool.
Yeah. That's going to be coming, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was some other announcements during that too. You got the special edition of a Game & Watch system.
Yeah, but I can't wait for that. $50 only, man. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun little thing. I don't know. I think I like the clock functionality on that better. Like, I could see me like putting that on my office desk and just watching as little Mario experiences happen for each like clock change. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that will speak to the longevity of the device. If you end up doing that, just leaving it on at all times, plugged in.
Kill the battery for sure.
Yeah. And they also announced some like clothing things. The big hang up everybody had was they're only selling 3D All-Stars in both a physical and digital form for a set amount of time.
Yeah.
So you have to purchase the game by March. I believe March 31st. So you get at least the full month of March. But if you
I feel like this is this leads into sort of the Switch Pro conversation. So this is my conspiracy theory. So first of all, I think it's I agree. I agree with everybody. This is a shitty practice. Honestly, it's anti-consumer. If someone's gonna want to buy it later on, what do they do? Yada yada yada. I think Nintendo should just let it go. Let everybody get access to it and buy it when they can, knowing that a lot of people aren't going to have the money right now to potentially throw down on games. I mean, that could be the last thing on a lot of people's minds right now. So why limit it? So I think that's definitely a crappy thing to do. At the same time, I believe it's very much part of their business plan to get everybody to front load as much as possible money for the rest of this year to the end of March, which is the end of their fiscal year, right? So they'll say, check it out. We made all this money on Mario 35th anniversary stuff, and we'll get into the Zelda stuff in a second here. We got all this stuff sold. We made tons of money between now and end of March, and boom, now we're going to release the Switch Pro to keep us going forward through to go on against the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I think that for me, that feels like the video game conspiracy theorist in me, but it feels like that's their business strategy. Like you saw a lot of that stuff is like you can get it at the end of up until the end of March, and that's it. To the end of March, and that's it. It's like they're forcing everybody to spend their money between now and March because what's going to happen after March? Well, Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, or, whatever the next Mario game actually is, they're going to have a bunch of new things that they drop. You're muted, Aaron. Motherfucker.
There's that new Zelda one too. That they announced the new Hyrule.
They dropped that news today.
Yeah. Also, Stealth launched today at like 10:30 in the morning. Because sure, Hyrule Warriors. I don't know what the prefix is.
Age of Calamity.
Yes.
Years before Breath of the Wild.
Yep. Yes. A prequel of sorts. My big hang up in that is spoilers if you haven't played like the first 5 minutes of Breath of the Wild. That game has to end tragically, correct?
I can't wait.
Like that
a horrible ending. It's gonna be awesome.
Everyone that game ends miserably. And I mean, hey, I'm willing to be surprised. I know there's some hangups of like, the first Hyrule Warriors was sort of a celebration of the entire Zelda franchise, and this is sort of landlocked into what is Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's so much DLC when it comes to these sort of Dynasty Warrior like games that come out that I wouldn't be surprised if you don't get that sort of alternate timeline type situation and like portals to other dimensions that the first Hyrule Warriors brought you. You might be stuck to 3D Zeldas, but I don't know. Mario Kart on the phone is getting 2D sort of weird 3D sprite. So yeah, I mean, it'll certainly be interesting. That's one of that series has always been good in the past in both Hyrule Warriors and Dynasty Warriors of being a good, like, I'm just going to play 2-player co-op and we're just going to mash stuff. And then some exposition is going to get said to our face for sometimes longer than it really should be. And then we're going to go back to mashing some stuff.
They're sort of these nice palate cleansing games. I mentioned that it's going to be a nice game in between loading times for Cyberpunk 2077 to just mash on Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I think it's actually kind of ballsy in a weird way to say, hey, who is it? Bandai Namco, whoever it is that makes those games. I don't know who it is, but it's like, hey, you guys are officially doing the prequel to Breath of the Wild, our biggest Zelda ever. Make it a Musou game. And you kind of think, well, at the same time, it is because that the 100 years before, and then we're getting into some stupid Zelda lore now, right? The 100 years before was just a big ass war. You had the heroes, the champions, I guess, the 5 champions or 4 champions, whatever, and Zelda all taking on just waves and waves of enemies. So that was actually set up pretty well, I guess, in a weird way. And then they all die, right? And you have the 4 divine beasts are included in this in some sort as well. So I kind of see it as, in a weird way, it feels kind of right, I guess, as a way to do it. It's just weird that that this is looks like this is their tentpole November game now, because you have the Mario stuff kind of sprinkled throughout. I mean, Mario All-Stars is next week, right? Next Friday. And it's already the second most purchased game on Amazon this year, next to Animal Crossing. So you got that. You got Mario Kart Live in October. You got Pikmin 3 in October, and then Hyrule Warriors in November. I'm guessing you'll probably still get No More Heroes this year, and probably Bravely Default. But that's it for Nintendo. And I gotta think that they're just saving everything going forward now. All those other little announcements they had, all those other games are just saying, you know what, Switch Pro. Wait till Switch Pro launches in March. We're going to drop a bunch of games on there, and you're going to enjoy it. So there.
Yeah, it's interesting that they seem to at least be like peppering news as opposed to quote going all out and then having really nothing to say, like Microsoft and Sony here for the last couple of months.
Yeah,
and I hope it is just trying to get out of their way in terms of marketing. Like, hey, like this fall is you guys. Like, we get it. We're gonna have some games come out. We get it. We're gonna hit next year real hard. So please get out of the way by then.
Seriously, yeah.
I mean, I'm totally okay with this trickle of Nintendo stuff. I know it gets sort of hemed and hawed, but I would much prefer not knowing something's coming as opposed to knowing about an event for a week or a month in advance and then being sort of disappointed by what gets shared.
Nintendo's in this unique position where they're probably going to outsell the Xbox Series X consoles with the Switch, simply because they're going to be riding on Animal Crossing, because a lot of people couldn't get that. They'll be riding on Ring Fit Adventure and all this Mario stuff this year. I do feel like after they saw a lot of the console stuff, I feel like Nintendo's been holding off, weirdly, not producing any information because they're just trying to wait and see what Sony and Microsoft do, and watching those games continually get delayed and postponed out of this season. And I think for me, the big one was Halo. When that got pushed out from 2020, I think that completely changed the landscape of what was coming this year. Because then Sony could afford to take their foot off the gas a little bit. Nintendo definitely took their foot off the gas a little bit. You don't need to go all out if there's no tentpole game for Xbox. It's just, are you willing to spend $299 or $300 or $500? I mean, you're not getting anything different than what you're already getting. It's just a newer box, and you'll get first party games on the line. Or do you want Animal Crossing Winter? I think for a lot of folks, Animal Crossing Snowman is tantalizing, but that's the there's your Nintendo update. You missed the most important part of the Nintendo news, though, Sam, and I'm very upset. And that was Super Mario Brothers 35, which is the Battle Royale Mario Brothers game, which I think is a fucking awesome idea, and I cannot wait because this is my bathroom design sessions were thinking about what the Super Mario Brothers Battle Royale game would be, and this is it. I'm excited for this.
I certainly want to give it a try. Who knows if it's going to have like any longevity? It might just be. I mean, Tetris is its own beast, but at least for me, I only turn that on maybe like every once in a while, and
to get one of the themes.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I suck at Tetris. Never playing this game again.
Yeah.
So, I hope it's a fun battle royale game. I don't think it'll ever be on the level of Fall Guys.
No.
And there's interesting battle royale games coming out all the time. We talked about Spellbreak earlier. So it's Mario. So hopefully that has some leverage, and also it being fun. But I don't really have high hopes for it.
Ready? What if Fall Guys did a crossover with the famous Lee Majors TV series, The Fall Guy? And that would be the 1981 TV series Fall Guy and Fall Guys. There we go. Let's make it happen.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Anything else? That's it. Are we good? Any other news? I know there's probably stuff, but I could care less. There's there's a Shenmue anime series coming. The At Game stuff was kind of cool, actually. The stuff you were showing, the arcade stuff.
Yes, yeah. We can talk about that more next week because there's. I do have one of their original arcade cabinets. Okay. They are on version 1.1 now.
Nice.
Those cabinets. So we can talk about that next week, but there's a lot to go over with that. So might not be worth getting into this evening.
And hey, this week we're going to get a Ubisoft Forward event. So get those Prince of Persia stuff going, because that's the next thing coming. But let's wrap it up. Over an hour and a half. We talked about games, talked about news, talked about what we've been playing. and I'm tired. I'm spent, and I'm gonna go play some more Star Renegades. So, with that said, you can find us at sidequesting.com, at sidequesting all over the place. Sidequesting on Twitch, sidequesting TV, sidequesting TV on Twitch, sidequesting on YouTube. Find me at Dali Domovsky all over the place. Sam, we can find you here on sidequesting on the podcast as a. You know what's funny is if you inverted your picture right there with the black box and the white circle, you would be in Xbox One Series S. You'd be the white box with the black circle in the middle.
Yes, and I am also priced at $299.
You are also priced at $299. Nice. You are very affordable. Aaron, where can we find you, buddy?
On Twitch and Twitter at Scruddy Bones.
Nice. Check him out. He'll be playing Star Renegades as well.
Definitely not playing it right now.
Definitely not playing it right now. All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode of The Side Quest. Take care. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.